Okay, listen, I'm going to need you to keep this video between us, because what I'm about to say, the movies I'm about to defend, cannot leave this room. I have a reputation to protect. And these are the movies that critics destroyed. Movies that the internet has spent decades making fun of. Movies that serious film people are not supposed to love. And guess what? I love every single one of these. No apology, no qualification, nothing. And we're going to talk about them. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. Alright, so look, I spend a lot of time on this channel making serious arguments and nostalgic, emotional pulls about great cinema, the craft of filmmaking, the golden era of Hollywood, why movies used to feel different, and all of that is completely genuine. But today, I got a few things I want to get off my chest, because there are films I love that apparently I'm not supposed to love. Films that get destroyed by critics, films that become punchlines, films that serious cinephiles roll their eyes at. And I'm done pretending. You shouldn't have to pretend either. So today I'm going to take that bullet and I'm going incognito, because I have to maintain plausible deniability. So let's do this, and we're going to open with 1987 and arm wrestling for child custody. You've heard me say it before, and over the top. Well, we have to start here because you need to understand something immediately. Over the Top is a film about a truck driver named Lincoln Hawk who wins back his estranged son through the sport of arm wrestling. So no kidding, it's child custody via arm wrestling, and that's the movie. And Stallone, the whole father-son dynamic in here, the whole reconciliation before the match, critics called it one of the worst films of 1987. It has like a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, but who gives a damn? They don't know anything they're talking about over there. They're mostly bought and paid for access media critics. So to hell with them. This is a fun, good canon film, movie, excess 80s Kenny Loggins soundtrack. All the arm wrestling sequences are legitimately tense. The father-son dynamic is realistic. Stallone is doing something in this film that's actually real legit acting that gets overlooked. I love this movie. It's a canon film in every sense of the word. They made arm wrestling huge, and you have to love it in all its sincerity. Over the Top is a film I love. All right, so next up is one that was released by Arrow Video not that long ago, heading to 1999, and Deep Blue Sea. And I know what you're thinking, and that is Deep Blue Sea is not a bad movie. That's actually pretty good. And you're right. You're absolutely right. And that's the point. That's why it's on this list, because the critical establishment treated this movie like a joke. And it's absolutely not a joke. And the commentary on here is even more of a joke, comparing the shark to the fear of fear of females and the vagina dentata, and just absolute ass clown of a commentary on this. But don't let that put you off from the film, because the film is fun. You've got mako sharks who are like enhanced, and they have big brains, and they're smarter than they should be because they're trying to cure Alzheimer's. You got Thomas Jane with Rennie Harlan directing. You got LL Cool J, Samuel L. Jackson, and of course the Samuel L. Jackson scene that took everybody by surprise. If you've seen Deep Blue Sea, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the CGI is dated, but it wasn't dated at the time. You can't retroactively apply standards to stuff. That's why, though, practical effects always win, because they hold up longer. That's why you need more practical effects. But I still love the movie. One of the greatest kills in horror movie history. It's a well-constructed film. The action sequences are inventive. All of that. Deep Blue Sea is not a bad movie. You're exactly right. It's a fun, awesome, exciting, scary, thrilling movie that's treated as a bad movie, and I will forever defend it, because those people are wrong. All right, now we got to head back to 1982, and this is where things get personal for me with The Beastmaster. I've talked about this film on the channel many times before. I've made arguments about it. I said this is the film that got me back into physical media collecting after my dad passed suddenly. All those things. TBS stood for the Beastmaster station. HBO stood for Hey, Beastmaster's on. And for those who don't know, in 1982, critics called it derivative sword and sorcery nonsense. It performed a little better than modestly at the box office, and then something happened. It went to VHS and cable TV. TBS and HBO played it approximately 11,000 times per year, and over the next decade, if you had cable, if you had TBS, if you had a way to get to a VHS, to an old mom and pop video rental store, you were going to watch Beastmaster, and you may not remember choosing to watch it, but it was going to be some way you watched this movie because it was always on. You got Mark Singer as Dar. The Beastmaster is a warrior who can communicate telepathically with animals. You got Rip Torn as the villain in here, and you got Tanya Roberts, doing all her nudity in a PG movie. Ferrets, an eagle, a black tiger that was dyed with Miss Clairol. And here is my filmmaking defense for Beastmaster. It commits to the bit completely, and you always have to love that. You have the real animals in here. You don't have CGI stuff. These are real animals. I don't care. It's got great world building. It's fun. Action, swords, a little horror with those bat dudes, the eagle dudes that just ate people and left the bones. Critics called it bad. They panned it. Don Coscarelli is a little weird. He's a little kooky, but that's fine. We all responded to it by watching it countless times, and that made it actually just great, and I absolutely regret nothing about this movie. I love it. Great Vinegar Syndrome 4K of The Beastmaster. And next I have one that 88 Films put out, and this is a 2001 film that almost nobody talks about. It is Evolution, and this one is surprising that it almost never gets talked about because it has an all-star cast to it. You've got Ivan Reitman directing, you got David Duchovny, you got Orlando Jones, you got Sean William Scott. You have a stacked cast in this film, and this is one where there is a meteor that crashes in Arizona. It's got an evolving alien organism in it, and the aliens evolve from single cell to complex organisms in days. The government gets involved, everything gets crazy, and I know that it's kind of odd, it's kind of offbeat, but Evolution was marketed sort of as the next Ghostbusters, which is probably why it performed unfavorably, because it wasn't that. Nothing is that, right? But here's what Evolution is. It's a genuinely funny sort of sci-fi, horror, comedy, little horror elements in there with leads that have chemistry. It's absolutely absurdist entertainment. Clearly understood the assignment on what it was doing. David Duchovny in this film is operating like at a specific comedic register that almost nobody gives him credit for, that he brought back sort of again when he was doing Californication. Deadpan, committed, never winking at the camera. It's not Ghostbusters. Nothing is. Nothing was ever gonna be. But it's fun. It's funny. I enjoy the movie. And you can come fight me over Evolution. Now, the next one we're going to get a little serious, or at least what Kevin Costner imagines is serious with Waterworld from 1995, because Waterworld is, again, I'm going to say not a bad movie. Waterworld is genuinely an ambitious post-apocalyptic science fiction film that got buried under the weight of its own disastrous production, and it never really fully recovered. Kevin Costner directing it himself as the Mariner, a mutant loner who's like navigating a future Earth where the ice caps have melted and there's no land really. Dennis Hopper as Deacon. You have one of the most unhinged, that's a word that goes with Dennis Hopper a lot. A villain performance here. You got Jean Triplehorn going full nude in here. You got a young Tina Majorino as a woman and child who he reluctantly protects. It's kind of like a mother-daughter situation there. And here's where the conversation about Waterworld kind of drifts off and people ignores it, and that's the world building in this movie is next level. Production design, the floating community, the salvage materials. It's very impressive. Practical sets, not a bunch of damn CGI. Very physically demanding action sequence in a way that CGI heavy modern action movies are never going to do. It cost $175 million back in 1995, which means it was extremely expensive, but it did make about 300 million worldwide, which means it was at that day and age still profitable. Now they spend so much more on everything else it probably wouldn't have been. But this one it's spectacular spectacle filmmaking. I like the vision. They're hunting the mythical place known as dry land. I don't know. It's fun. I mean, it got called Fishtar because they're comparing it to Ishtar. That was a big, expensive movie that flopped. I don't care. It's fun. Arrow Video put it out. Fight me. I don't know. I like Waterworld. All right, now next we're going to go deep back into the vault, back to the 80s, 1985. Arrow Video bringing us this one again to the new world in 4K of The Stuff. And we go deep into the vault here for Larry Cohen and one of the great overlooked sort of horror satires of the 1980s, as you got a mysterious white substance that is discovered bubbling up from the ground, and it just so happens to taste incredible. It's like marshmallow fluff is what it looks like, or some sort of yogurt. And it becomes a popular dessert all over America. People cannot get enough of the stuff. They need it. They crave it. They'll do anything to have more of it. It's slowly eating them, however, from the inside out and taking them over. And The Stuff is a film about consumer culture. No doubt. There's big commercial sequences, fake commercial sequences in this. It's about the specific American willingness to put almost anything in your body if it tastes good and the advertising tells you it's fine. It's about corporations who profit from that willingness and take advantage of you no matter what happens, but then the product itself fights back. And Larry Cohen made this film for almost no money, and it looks like it at sometimes, and it absolutely does not matter to me because the concept is sharp, it's perfectly executed on a level of pure horror satire that is Verhoeven levels above. Paul Verhoeven with his satire is basically what you get here. You have Michael Moriarty as the industrial saboteur who's hired to investigate. Garrett Morris, Paul Sorvino, Brooke Adams, The Stuff. A film that critics largely, they didn't even pan it really. They just ignored it in 1985. But the horror community has come to celebrate it ever since. Your deep cut on this episode, though with Arrow bringing it and restoring the cuts in 4K here, maybe not as a deep cut anymore as it used to be. Go find it immediately because you can never get enough of The Stuff. Oh boy, now here we go, because a lot of you already know I've talked about this one before as well, and I'm ready to fight on it here and now because I like the movie. What can I say? It is Jason Goes to Hell from 1993, and I know a lot of you are thinking, man, he says this before, but I don't like Jason Goes to Hell. It's not a Jason movie, blah, 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 blah. Listen, Jason Goes to Hell is a diverse, like a divisive, let's say, entry in the Friday the 13th franchise. It's the one where Jason is destroyed at the beginning of the movie in the opening sequence, and the rest of the film he's a body-jumping demon from one person to the other while killing his way back to himself, essentially. Critics hated that. A significant portion of Friday the 13th fan base hated that. It made a fraction of what other entries in the genre or in the franchise made, and I genuinely love it, man. Here's my honest case for Jason Goes to Hell. It's the only Friday the 13th movie that actually tried to do something different with the mythology, and it removed any question on whether or not Jason was supernatural. If you didn't know it by then, you damn well knew it. Like, he had to be supernatural. How many ways can somebody die and come back just because they're crazy? That's not it. But this removed it. It put a supernatural mechanism to him. It lets you see how other people would interpret playing Jason. That was interesting. It's got hellaciously good practical effects. It's got great kills in this movie. I really don't know what you want from it. Does it have some tonal problems? I mean, you got the Necronomicon in here, basically. Yeah, maybe. But it's a fun, good movie. I disagree with people who don't like it. I think it's interesting to see the body jumping done in this. It's winking at itself. The whole opening sequence is sort of a wink that we know. It's very meta. We know what Jason, we got a girl getting naked, and that's going to entice Jason in because she's nude out there by herself, and she's running through the woods and trips and falls. It's winking at itself. And you've got, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. You get the glove, the machete, whatever, the whole damn thing. This thing is having fun, and that is what it's about. And plus, you got Freddy Krueger's glove at the end. As, like a 14-year-old kid, that was pretty damn awesome to see. Jason Goes to Hell, an incredible 4K from Arrow in a movie that I like, that a lot of people don't. But you know what? I'm right, and you're wrong. Okay, now let's head to the early 2000s, the aughts. Let's go to 2004 and Van Helsing. Van Helsing, you murderer! Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, Stephen Sommers directing, and a film that committed so completely to like the gothic excess of the old school Universal monsters, but had no framework containing any of it really. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Van Helsing is a film about a monster hunting Van Helsing who's after Dracula. He's got Frankenstein's monster and the Wolfman simultaneously. You even get Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in this. You're in 19th century Transylvania. It has more plot than 3 normal films put together, really. It has more production design than most franchises today manage across multiple films. It moves at a speed that gives you no time to question anything. Is it too much? Is it over the top? Is it crazy? Absolutely. Is everything dialed up to 11? Yes, completely. Does it take itself seriously while also being completely insane? Also yes. And I love every single second of it. I love the Dracula's over-the-top performance in this. I love Hugh Jackman. I love the look, the style, Kate Beckinsale, all of it. Very gothic, very old school Universal monsters feeling, very creepy, very fun, and excessive fun vision, and that commitment, that willingness to go all in on the ridiculousness and embrace the old school monster aspect of it all. Van Helsing is loud, excessive, committed, and genuinely great old school weekend entertainment and a throwback to those Universal monsters. I regret nothing anytime I watch Van Helsing. All right, we got just a couple more left, and this is the one that is my most serious defense, probably. Like, I probably got to defend this one the most. And I actually have the Blu-ray, the DVD, and the 4K. I grabbed the Blu-ray of Battleship. And listen, Battleship, Peter Berg, a serious director, Taylor Kitsch, who I think is an underrated actor. I like him. Really loved him in Friday Night Lights. Liam Neeson, because Liam Neeson is in everything. Rihanna, because okay. And alien invaders who follow very specific rules of engagement, like the board game. And here's what every criticism of Battleship misses completely. The alien logic in this film is actually internally consistent and genuinely interesting. The aliens only attack things that pose a direct threat to them. They have a targeting system that mirrors the grid-based mechanics of the board game, which that makes sense. And it's either genuinely smart or insane, depending on how you take it. But Liam Neeson is in the film. He's in here for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. He commands every second that he's on screen because he always does. I love it. You got Rihanna, who decided in her first role to be completely natural on camera. I think she's pretty good in this. Battleship is not a great film, but I want to be honest about the fact that I like it anyway. It is significantly better than its reputation, and the specific pleasure of watching this thing is just like old school 80s ridiculous sci-fi action. Me want watch things explode and have fun. That's me have fun. Me like. That's what you get with Battleship, and I'll defend it because there's room for those kind of movies. Come at me if you want to. Battleship is fun. Taylor Kitsch is underrated. Check it out. All right, and finally we have come down to Hubie Halloween from 2020. And listen, we close here. Maybe this is my most controversial pick, and maybe my most honest one, because I genuinely love this movie. It's a comfort film. Hubie Halloween, Adam Sandler is Hubie Dubois, a Halloween-obsessed community volunteer, knucklehead, slow wit in Salem, Massachusetts, who becomes convinced on a Halloween night that supernatural things are actually happening. And critics roasted this. They called it lazy, juvenile, another vanity project, a cash grab, the kind of film serious people don't watch, and they certainly don't defend. But I want to make a different argument, because Adam Sandler's been making specific types of movies for those audiences for 30 plus years. He knows exactly who watches his films. He knows exactly what they want, the kind of fun. He's a nostalgic person. He's still in love with the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it comes through in everything. He's still nostalgic about holidays and the old school way we were brought up, and it comes through in every movie, including Hubie Halloween. All the things I talk about on this channel, the lost connection, the lost monoculture. He is still into all that, and it comes through in movies like Hubie Halloween, and it's made with the genuine love of the season and all those things. Salem is gorgeous in the process. The cast: Kevin James, Julie Bowen, Ray Liotta, Rob Schneider, Steve Buscemi, his usual suspects, clearly having the time of their lives, and that comes through. And when critics dismiss Sandler all the time, listen, they're dismissing what they just don't like, right? Instead of just saying have fun with it, they just crap on it and say you shouldn't watch it either. But here's the thing. Hubie Halloween reportedly made over $120 million for Netflix in its first week. The audiences who loved it, watched it, and enjoyed it. The people who made it loved making it, and that's what film's all about. It's fun. Everybody had fun. They enjoyed it. They created something they had a good time with. Here I am, Hubie Halloween in hand, in my sunglasses and hat right now. So you can't really hold it against me when I say I love this movie. And non-ironically, it's just a blast. It's full of nostalgia. It's full of feels. And whether you keep it between us or not, go and watch Hubie Halloween. So there you go. 10 films, 0 apologies. Over the Top, Deep Blue Sea, The Beastmaster, Evolution, Waterworld, The Stuff, Jason Goes to Hell, Van Helsing, Battleship, Hubie Halloween, bad movies. Hell no, I don't think so. Misunderstood movies, movies not made for crotchety, paid access critics or stuffed shirts, absolutely. But movies committed to exactly what they are, yeah, that's what we're doing here with this list, and they are fun. As you can see, I own every single one of them, so I put my money where my mouth is. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, hit the bell, hang around. That helps out the channel. You catch other videos from me. If you want to help support what we're doing here a little bit more so I can buy more bad movies and keep doing videos, my Patreon link is below. You'll get your name on every video, in lights, special members only videos, and access, and so much more, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.